So as you can see here, um, there are various software that we use for Python programming, and you also might be aware about it, like Python command prompt, how to write a program, as you in the last lecture you have learned. Then few editor like PyCharm and Sublime, Spider. There are a few other another IDs there, and similarly, we will have a Jupyter Anaconda. Have you work done on Jupyter Anaconda before?
Yes.
Okay. Have you installed that part as well?
Uh, yeah, I think I have it installed. Let me just check.
Just check it once. If it not, then I can show you the Jupyter Anaconda installation, and we can run some programs on that.
Oh, yeah, I have it installed.
Okay. So for installing that, um, so whenever you have to install it, just go to this website anaconda.org, download Anaconda. Once you click on this download Anaconda, there you will get this options. So you just have to once you click on download Anaconda, this page will open. This in this page you can download it by clicking on this Anaconda individual edition, Python 3.9 64-bit. So based on your system, 32 or 64-bit installer, you can download it. So it will the platform will be like this, right? And then you can install it. So the setup will become like this. Based on Mac, Linux, and Window, you can install. So we're going to do that. Let me open in my system. For opening, it will take some time because this app usually occupy a very large space in your system, and so it usually take a time to open that based on your system configuration. So you can see here, as I click on it, it's open, right? So once it open, you just have to click on this Jupyter notebook, click on launch. Okay, web based, so it will open the web based portal. So click on launch. So whichever is a default browser, it will going to open the local host on that. So for a few days, we're going to work on this Python, Pandas library, NumPy, Matplotlib, and then I will going to switch to the database and all. So once you get this Jupyter environment, click on this new and select the Python 3, which is the latest version, and it will come like this, right? And now we're going to give a name. Right. So as you are aware about the syntax of the Python, uh, in Python, what kind of work you have done, like basic Python or complete Python knowledge you have?
Uh, Wait. Yeah, I've done Python coding for like I think 2 years, more than 2 years.
Okay. So suppose, like if I say you about the list, tuple, data structure in the Python, have you done work on that list?
Yes, yes. Yeah.
Okay. So I'm going to start to the list comprehension. So it will make a going to revise for you. So
I'll
what is,
just follow along. Yes.
yeah. Have you heard this term list comprehension?
Yes. I've used a little bit of list comprehension, but not much.
Okay. So in the list,
Mostly for data.
yeah.
So
So yes. So list comprehension is used when you frequently when you want to transform the data from one form to another form. So like suppose you have a data in the list and you want to convert the data of the list into another form, or like you want to change the data of the list by performing some operation on the existing list, then we'll go for list comprehension. So list comprehension means, so when programming, frequently you want to make a change, to transform or make change. Okay, so this is about the list. Let's start working on the list. Suppose I created one list num, and I'm holding a value inside this one. Let's start with 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Okay, this is what my list. So in this list I want that um okay, let me create one more list, empty list. Okay, so I'm creating one empty list here, and I want that after performing the square of element that are present in the num, I should get all the square element in the square list. How we going to do that? According to you, if I want to know from like according to you, if I want the element of this num, after doing the square of this element, I want all those elements to be present in the square. How you going to do?
uh, the basic way would be just use a for loop and iterate over like each of them
Mhm.
and just store them, like append it to the list.
Yeah, okay. Let's do that. Yeah. So like for x, I'm taking a temporary variable x in nums. So it will going to iterate every element. It will going to consider every element of the num. Then you will going to append those in the square list. So what you're going to write? Square
Square
dot
dot append.
append.
Yes.
And inside this, what you're going to do? In order to perform square, you have to take x square, so it will going to multiply by, it will going to perform the square power 2. This whenever you use double asterisk, it mean that 0 to the power 2, 1 to the power 2, 2 to the power 2, right? And once it's done, you will going to print that. So for print, you're going to write print, and inside the parenthesis you are going to write square list, right? Now let me run this. So we are getting error. So oh, spelling mistake. Yeah, yes, so let me run. Okay.
The on
Oh,
the append
yeah, yeah.
line above that.
Okay, yeah, yeah, sorry. Yes, yeah. So here, as you can see, we are getting the output now. So we should be careful while taking the name, because if any mismatch in the name happens, then it will not give an output, right? So it is one example for the list comprehension, where we are reading the data of one list and we are converting, or we are transforming the data in the form of square and adding into the another list, right? So it's called as a list comprehension. Similarly, there is another way as well. Okay, how you can make it more simpler? Okay, if I say you, if I how you can make it more similar, so let's do it in another way. So let's you have a same list and same element, but let's this time let's take till 10. Okay, now instead of using a for loop, you can directly use inside the list as well. How you're going to do that? Square. Okay. Now inside this list, you can write like this: x to the 2 for x in nums, right? You can write in this way as well. It means that it will going to do the square of every element, temporary variable x, that it will going to read from nums, and then we're going to print it. This is another way. This is a short way. You are making the code simpler. Okay. So num is a list, and this square is again a list, but you are doing operation on that. So I will going to say this list comprehension, and here we're going to print that. So let me run and see. So okay, here comma, 1 2 yeah,
The square spelling on the first line on list comprehension.
sq. Okay, yeah, okay, yes. So we are getting the same output here, right? As we are getting here, because I have took the 10 element, that's why we are coming here with the 10 element. But when we're going to make it here, just 1 minute, let me make, yeah. So as you can see, same thing what we are doing here, we are getting the output here as well, but here we make the code more simpler. Instead of writing the for loop outside, we have written inside the list itself. So this is another way of doing that. Now suppose if I want to make more condition, if I want to apply more condition on this, how we're going to do that? Suppose I want only those number which will going to do the mod, so it will going to give me um okay, I want only those number which are even. Okay, if you see this, which are the even number here: 4, 16, 36, 64, and 100. So I want here only the even number. So how we're going to do that? So for that, okay, so here how you will going to add a condition? You will going to add condition inside this square list only. Just write same thing: x to the power 2 for x in num. Now here what condition you're going to add if you want only even number, according to you?
If wait,
Mhm. So even number, in order to find even number, well,
module, right?
yeah,
X module 2 is
yeah.
equal to
So x
0.
module 2 equal to 0.
0.
So once you place this condition here, it will going to print. So let me change this as a even square. So when you're going to do this, so you can see it's giving only even number. When opposite to that, if you're going to do this for odd, then for odd, what you're going to write the code here, where x mod 2 is equal to 1. So you can see it will going to give you odd number, those who square is odd, right? So these all are operation called as a list comprehension. Okay, like it means that you are doing the manipulation of the list element. So list comprehension is very important, and in Spark or big data technology, we're going to work on this list comprehension. Have you worked on pandas, numpy, matplotlib library?
Yes, yes.
Okay. So let's look into the dictionary as well. So you might be aware about the dictionary data, right? Dictionary data structure.
Yes.
So why we use dictionary? Dictionary, can you tell me?
When you don't want dictionary is basically like when you have data that is unique for unique data, like a key
Yeah,
and key value
correct.
pair.
So dictionaries save a data in the form of key and value, where key will going to identify the values. So dictionaries store a data in the form of key and value, key and value pair, we say it, right? So key and value pair, similar to a map in Java. Have you done work in Java?
A bit, not
Okay.
much.
So similar to a hash map in Java, or JSON file, if you have seen, right?
Yes.
So dictionary store the data in the form of key value, and it will be similar to what we have seen, or what we work in map in Java, JavaScript, JSON file. So all the data will be in the key and value. So the reason is fast accessing. So in a big data, we're going to work on key and value pair only. The reason why, because key identify the data. The reason why do we use this key value? Because key will help to identify the data uniquely, right? The reason why, because a normal storage usually take a lot of time. In a database, if you save the data in the form of rows and column, right, just like an Excel sheet, it will going to take a lot of time to fetch the data. That, and big data doesn't mean for that. Big data means for fast accessing and storage. So there your key will going to help you to identify. So one thing that in big data always says that, if I ask you a question, will it be okay if key is repeating?
No, key cannot be repeated.
Correct.
Values can.
Yeah, so suppose roll number, suppose a key is there, 101 is your roll number, and having a name, suppose like Herman. Okay. And 102 roll number, again 102 roll number, or 101 having a name Amit, suppose. So this thing doesn't support, like doesn't work, right? Why? Because single key identifying two data, so that will not work, it will going to give an error. But opposite to that, if we say, okay, opposite to that, if we say 101 belong to Herman, and 102 belong to again Herman, this is, will it be support?
Yes.
Correct. Because based on the dictionary concept, the key should be unique, because key will going to identify the whole row, right? So this first part is doesn't support, it will going to give an error. But second one will going to support, because it might be possible that in a class, two students having a same name, but their roll number should be different, right? So the key will going to identify the whole record. 101 may be Herman from US, and 102 is an Herman from India. So this key will going to uniquely identify the whole data. That's why we use a dictionary to store data. In a big data technology, we're going to work with a JSON file and key value pair. Many people they get confused, so I thought to explain this to you so that you should be remembered. Okay, so let's start working on dictionary. So I'm creating a variable dictionary D, and inside this I'm saving a random data. Let me take data. Okay, 101 same data. Okay, you're getting right.
Yes.
And 103, suppose I will going to share this file with you, so don't worry on this. Okay, so this is a dictionary that I created where 101, 102, 103 is a key, and these are the value. So now if you want to print D, so you can get it value now. Now suppose if I say you I wanted to find like entry for 101, how are you going to find it out?
Yes. Just
Right.
yeah.
Similarly, if you want to check it for other, so how are you going to check it? 102, what value this key holding? So you just have to write D is your dictionary variable. Suppose in case if you take another variable, then you have to pass the another variable here, whichever is a dictionary variable that, then in the subscript or square bracket you have to pass the key. For that particular key it will going to give you the value. Sorry, yeah. So for 102 it is Amit, and similarly if we try it for D103, it will going to give a Tinder, right? So this is in this way you can print the value for that particular key. If you want to change the value, how you're going to make change a value, or if you just want to okay, let me make one more change. So I'm making a D104. So suppose if you only create one and if you want to check it, you can, that also you can do it. Just you have to just write 104 here and run it. So you can see it is printing for only one element as well. If you do not create a dictionary here, the whole variable, and you just create a single key and saving a data here, for that also it will going to work. So I hope you might get an idea like how this will going to work, right? Is it
Yes.
clear?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. So dictionary is used for holding a value and the variable. Okay, so let me take some more example on dictionary. So I'm creating a dictionary, and in this dictionary, suppose let me take a person to another one. Suppose let's take anything like cat, and it's having a value suppose 4, and let's take another animal like dog and having a value, suppose 5. So I created one dictionary. Now in this dictionary, how you're going to apply the for loop? Suppose if you want to apply the for loop and you want to print the content, how are you going to print that?
Uh, so for I index,
Yeah.
wait.
So for I
No,
in,
for I and you have to mention, you take variables for both, right?
yes. So for I in a dict, okay, it means that I element in every dict, I want, suppose I want to hold, first you have to hold a value. So suppose I'm taking another variable j is equal to dict I. Okay. Now, if you want to print this in some order, so how are you going to print it? Like suppose I'm going to show you print. Suppose let me take it like a person has person d. Let me write down, then I will going to explain you.
Okay.
Hmm. Okay, let me take capital D. Okay, so here, as you can see, a percentage is the string value that you are reading. Dog has percent d is for a number value, and it is showing ing. So let me check once here. A dog has,
Oh, the
yep,
J are before value in the print
yes.
statement.
Um,
This person D is substituting J, right?
yes, yes. One minute, I'm just looking for that. So a has a dog and a 5 j value. Mhm. So here we are coming with j value. So j, yes, okay. We want for every element, so I'm just looking once.
I think the print statement isn't in the for loop.
Yes, yes. No, no, we can do that as well. But here, yeah, it should come here. So j I, okay, a has a percent. Okay, person has the person d for this number, j value percent ing. Okay, yeah, okay, yes. So here as well, person has a 2j value. you can take instead of J, let me take some other. Uh, for I and a D, J, a person has instead of J, take well here. So like this, you can see here for I in a D, that is for every element of this D, person, cat, and dog, and D is your dictionary. Val is equal to Di means it will going to take every element. So for person, cat, and dog, three elements are there, and I am trying to print it. A percent s means this print will come inside the for loop because we have a three element. So while printing, print a percent s means a percentage is for these keys, okay, because they are in a string format. So for that we use percent is for the number, like this 5 is coming, the person has 5 value, 5 for every it is coming 5. Just let me check once. The person has 2, cat is 4, dog is 5. So for I in a D, well, di, okay, print a percent has percent D, well, hmm, okay, well, percent I, okay, and here well will come. Yeah, so now you can see here, now it's coming correctly. I have not replaced the J with well, so now I replace well, means I replace the J with well, so now it is coming correctly. You can see the format a percent s for string has percent D is the value of every key, percent cat and dog, and the respective value here. So you can print the dictionary also in that way, and if you perform an operation in the dictionary, that also you can do it. Okay, let's do the operation in the dictionary. Same operation that we have do in the square. So suppose here I wanted to do the square operation in the dictionary. Yeah, are you getting right how it happens?
Yes, yes.
Yeah. So suppose in the dictionary we want to perform a square operation. Okay, in the dictionary we want to perform square operations, so how we're going to do that? And same we want even number to be print. So even number, I'm giving a name equal to. Now whenever you see curly braces, it means that dictionary it started, you are working on dictionary. So I created a temporary variable x to the power 2 for x in nums. The only difference is that I was taking square bracket, but here now I'm taking curly braces. Okay, if x mod 2 equal to 0, and then we're going to print it. So num, I created a one list here. So you can see here that from list we are reading, but we are converting the element of the list into the dictionary by performing a square root, and we're going to print the even number. So you can see here how it is coming in the form of key. 0:0, 2:4, 4:6, 6:36, 8:64. So for whichever is the even, the square is coming, we are going to print that. Is it clear?
Yes.
So let's start working on another data structure, that is your set. So have you worked done on set? Do you know what is set?
Not much on sets.
Set is another data structure. And what does set you provides you? Set is a data structure, and it is unordered collection. It do not follow any order. Okay, it is unordered collection of distinct element. It do not follow any order, and it do not follow duplicacy as well. Whereas the list and tuple, you can have a duplicate element as well, but in set, it do never follow any order. Even if you assign a value to the set, and if you while printing, it might give you in an unordered fashion. So set is a data structure which is unordered collection of a distinct element. Okay, so let's see the example how you can declare the set. So suppose I'm creating animals, a set variable, and here also we're going to use curly braces, and but we don't use key value. So suppose I'm just saving the data here, right? So this animal is my set. Now I will going to print. So suppose if I want to check if cat is present in my set or what. So how will going to check cat in animal? Okay, let me run it. So you can see it's printing true, right? How it is printing true? That it's just checking if this particular element is present in that set or what, right?
Okay.
So it will going to check. Similarly, if you perform for another element as well, for dog and monkey, it will going to, okay, let me try with cats. So you can see it's printing false. Why? Because the element present in cat, not a cats. So it will going to give an error. Means it will not give an error, it will going to give you false. So this way you can check it whether the element is present in the set as well. Now here, you normally, if you want to add an element to the list, dictionary, or how you usually add in tuples and all, if you want to add an additional element to this in the list, how we usually add?
You just append, right?
Yes, we use an append. But in case of set, how you're going to add an element? Elements animal dot add function. Even if you write an add function and add any like a cow, and you check animals now, so you can see that it's printed. But do you see anything uh, means peculiar here,
Oh
anything
yeah,
that?
yeah. It's alphabetically sorted.
Yeah, and it's not in the order which you are entering, right?
Yes,
You enter
yes.
the cow at the end, but cow is coming in alphabetical order, so it is arrange it, right? So this is the like a set is another data structure. And you might have studied in the school while 11 12 as well. Set is a set of a collection of an element which is unordered, which usually represents set, right? In 11th and 12th we usually have this. So
Yes.
like this, a set is another data structure where we're going to save an element. It is in unordered fashion and distinct element. Let me add again. So now, do you see here? 1 minute. Let me add. Yeah. So now I'm using animals. See, what new thing that you are seeing here, that I try to add a cow, it runs successfully, but when I'm printing animal, does it showing you cow twice?
No.
Right? So here, what you have learned that set do not allow duplicate an element, right? Set
Mhm.
don't allow the duplicate element. So this is the thing that set why it is more effective, and we use it. It don't allow duplicate element. It do not it arrange element in alphabetical order. So set arrange an element in alphabetical order irrespective of what, in irrespective of order that you have added. Okay. Next thing is suppose if you want to find out the length of a animal, then you can find it out. That is also with the function len. This is common. You can use it in other as well, list as well. So in this, if you type list animal and run it, it will going to show you the number of element. However, you added a 5 element, but due to the it do not allow duplicate element, so it will going to show you the length only 4, right? How you're going to
Yes.
remove an element? If you want to remove an element, how you're going to remove? Animals dot remove function, and to this you have to just pass the element cow and run it. Now animals, so you can see here you have removed that cow as well, right? So this is a way of using the set is another data structure where you can save an element, where you can have an element, and you can print them. Now Okay. Suppose one more thing that I wanted to tell you. Suppose if you okay, so till this we have seen the set, right? Like how you can access the element, how you can remove, add an element. Adding an element is different from what we have seen in the list. We were using append, but in set we were going to use add function. Okay. Yeah. So okay. So have you heard this term enumerate?
Yes.
Why do we use it?
To get sequences.
Okay, yeah, correct. So this enumerate, like let me give you one example. I'm taking an element, get dog. I'm doing enumerate, and here enumerate means it will going to get a sequence for this set animals. Okay, so for ID animal, a temporary variable in this animal set, I'm going to provide a sequence to it, and once it will done, I will going to print it. So for printing, print, suppose let me take hash %d for the sequence, colon %s for the string that you want to print. Okay, and which value do you want to assign to this, that you have to pass it here, that will be,
Animal. Wait. Okay. ID and animal.
yes, id and animal. animals. Okay, animals, sorry. So let me run this. 1 minute. Oh, I forget to add colon here. Yeah. So you can see here cow, dog, monkey, cat, all are getting a sequence from 0, right? But what if you want a sequence starting from 1? So you just have to add here id plus 1. So you're going to get a sequence from 1, right? So
Mm.
like this it works. Enumerate function here. When you want to give a sequence, you just have to pass the set or any data structure to the enumerate, and while printing whatever sequence you want, you can print it. If you don't want hash, you can remove it, just run it, so it will going to print in a sequence 1 2 3 4. Now in the set comprehension we're going to see now. So the above one is also the example of that. In set comprehension, we're going to do the same what we have seen in the list. We're going to change the data. We're going to transform the data. We'll transform the data of set. So now let me give you one example. So in the set, how we're going to perform the same square root. Okay, so if I want to say you have to perform the square root of the element, how we're going to do that? Int, okay, square root for a square root is a function that is available in the math library, and to that you are going to pass this temporary variable x, and with every temporary variable you are going to write like this. For, let me close it here. For x in a range of, suppose 25 I'm passing. Only 1 minute, sorry. In square root, okay, 1 minute, let me check it here. From math import sqrt print int. Okay, I think it won't work here.
I think you forgot the brackets.
Brackets here it's closing, right? Okay, let me check it here. Here int square root, that is
One,
closed.
two.
One, okay,
Yeah,
let
int is
me,
closing. Yes.
yeah, no, it's
No.
not there. Okay, yeah, let me check it. Print inside this, let me give a curly brace. Yeah, now it's coming.
Okay.
You can see here, so from math import sqrt, it is going to print it. So whichever in the range of 25, it will going to consider all those. All those means 25 means, uh,
Whichever
yeah, means 4,
square
yeah,
roots.
4 is having square root is 2, like 3, 9 is having 3, 16 is having 4, 25 it
Yes.
will not going to consider because it always follow n minus 1 rule. This might be, you might be aware about it, right? N
Yes,
minus
yes.
1 rule in the, because we are passing 25, so it will not going to take the 25. However, it will go in, if I take it 30, then it will going to consider it. So now it is printing, right? The reason was, because this is a, you have to pass it in a square bracket, integer square root x, and for every x in the range 30 you're going to print that. So for that it will going to print. So I hope it is clear to you about set and all. And
Yes.
right, any question, anything that you want to ask?
Um, no, nothing, nothing there.
Okay. One more data structure is there, tuple. Let me give you one example as well. Tuple, have you done work?
Double, not much.
Okay, so better I should start tomorrow, because um, tuple is a vast, means there are a lot of examples are there in the tuple. So you can do practice on this part. Okay, I will going to explain you more program on this Python. Then in the next week onward, we're going to start pandas, matplotlib, numpy library, and then next month we're going to start database, MySQL and all. So go through this example, because this example I know you might be aware about it, but if you just go through it once, it will going to help you for the preparation for the interview as well, and it will help you to gain a command over it. I will going to download this file and share with you.
Okay.
Okay.